just encountered in reading up on the tech industry. What, in fact, is a programmer?
So the programmer concept came out earlier this past year, I think, and it was just the idea of a small group of, the problem is there's a party and there's a lot of really awesome people at them, and then the people that really suck sometimes get the most attention. And so there's a lot of guys were saying, we're all guys, this is a group of all guys, we're going to hang out, we're going to bro down, we're going to crush code, we're going to have an environment that's really just a bunch of dudes, kind of like fratty. And that was, some people met that with, oh, awesome's a lot, but most people met that with, that's, not how you would think most people would meet that.
Right, so it's sort of indicative of the problem. Vivek, Dan Ackerman, who's the editor of CNET, he tweeted a picture of the Worldwide Developers Conference that sort of explains the lack of diversity when it comes to women. So it's a picture of the line at the restroom. All men, the line is out the door, and no women in line here. And that seems to me indicative of the issue, a stark portrait there. And also this idea that if you're a woman, you probably don't feel very welcome in this industry. And once you get in it, perhaps you want to leave. I think the retention rates aren't very high for a lot of women.
It's worse than that. It's fine to just notice that there's a discrepancy there. For a book called Innovating Women that I crowd created, we had 500 women contributing to it. I heard horror stories about women going to these conferences and getting groped, getting raped, getting mistreated, getting laughed at. I mean, it's disgusting to see the behavior that happens. This programmer culture shows you what is acceptable to a small group within Silicon Valley, that it's okay for them to behave like brats and to have their own private clubs. It sort of becomes systematic. I mean, there is an African American woman, Adria Richards, who happened to go to a conference here in Silicon Valley and take a photo of some guys who were doing disgusting things up front. And she's been ostracized. She's been attacked like you won't believe. It's when I see the reaction that women, the treatment that women get, I'm really sickened to my stomach. This is why I've become so vocal about it, almost to a fault. I mean, the attacks that I made on Twitter's board, to me, it's symptomatic. Sarah talked about how the programmer thing started. Well, look at the boards. They're also bro boards, or whatever the right word might be. It's a boys' club where they go in, and it's people that they've hung out with since they were young, who they co-invested with. It's all a perpetuation of the same ills that you see in Silicon Valley. This is why I'm so vocal about it. It must change, that it is wrong. No civilized society can tolerate behavior like this.
Sarah, you want to jump in?
Yeah, one thing. So it becomes a self-perpetuating culture. I too have heard a lot of the stories that Vivek has heard, and they've been horrifying. And I imagine being someone not in this community and seeing it from the outside and not wanting to be a part of it. Last night, someone showed me a picture of a strip club near Twitter hosting an IPO night last night, where if you were a Twitter employee, you got crazy discounts and all kinds of special service. And I can imagine being a girl walking down the street and seeing that and being like, man, I do not want to be a part of that. So when the culture thinks these things are okay, and the strip club had nothing to do with the company, I'm sure.
Right, it might have been just the strip club that's giving these discounts. It's not Twitter necessarily sanctioning that.
Exactly, but when you have, when obviously that becomes a good night for the strip club because so many people are going to come out, you can recognize that there may be a problem.
What is being done, Vivek, to address this problem? Do you see any movement? I mean, you're obviously vocal. You've got Sarah here working as well. What's your sense?
Well, since I started speaking up about it, I came under intense attack from the Boys Club. On the other hand, the type of support I received from the community overall, women and men all across Silicon Valley and all across the world is amazing. I have been astonished at how much support I'm getting. People are fed up of this, that yes, you have an elite boys club on the boards, and then you have these programmers who are just spoiled boys. but then you have the rest of society which is speaking up about it. Step one to fixing any problem is to acknowledge that it exists, to admit that there's a real problem over here that's happening. Even a couple of the tech blogs which tried fighting back on it, they are, in Silicon Valley, you do have some spokespeople for the Boys Club. They've been attacked also by the general community. So there's a backlash happening to the people who've been defending the status quo. So just the fact that it's now at the surface, the fact that we're having this conversation, I mean, this is happening. You wouldn't expect the Washington Post to be talking about a problem in Silicon Valley like this, because normally you focus on what's happening in DC. The fact that we're having this conversation is a good thing because it's bringing it all to the surface, and we're making people very embarrassed. We're making people embarrassed about it. We're angering the quote, the mafia, as I call it, and we're now causing a change to happen. That I've been approached by many CEOs, because the majority of the CEOs of these companies do care.
Right.
They want to fix the problem. They've actually had several CEOs approach me, asking me how they can fix the problem. So good things are happening because we're having this discussion.
And Sarah, advice to women who are thinking about, maybe they're in college, maybe they are brilliant computer science majors like you were at Penn State. What's your advice to them?
My advice is find a mentor. So last night I had a lovely conversation with a girl who recently was at a conference and who was assaulted by someone there. And she told me about some of the experiences that she's had about people commenting on her T-shirts, on people just generally being inappropriate. And it broke my heart because I wish that it broke my heart because I wanted no one could have stopped it, right? But she had no one to talk to when this happened. She had no one to lean on, and she ended up getting attacked by the community, similar to the experience that Vivek spoke about, where she needed to walk away from her computer for 5 days and walk away from work for 5 days to just not deal with the backlash. And it made me really think about how if she had a female mentor that had been there with her, it would not have been perfect, but it would have been better. So if you are a female and in the world of tech industry, find a mentor, find someone that can help you. And it's not all bad. Going into software development is the best decision, hands down, I've ever made. And I'm part of a wonderful community and have very good friends that I respect and look up to, and they respect me as well. So it's about finding those people. So do your best and reach out to find women online, or find someone that you respect and reach out to them and ask if they'll be your mentor.
Thank you so much, Sarah Chips of Girl Develop It, and Vivek Wadhwa of Stanford. Thank you guys for joining me today to talk about this very important topic. The conversation, we now move it to Twitter. Do you think sexism is a problem in the tech industry? If so, how should we begin to combat this issue? Tweet me your thoughts using that hashtag #postback. We'll see you back here tomorrow.